direction and structure. It's almost like going into I think with the Chinese world and the Chinese lifestyle, it's like going into a massive sweet shop, and you sort of stand there going, because obviously it incorporates lifestyle, it can, like, you know, health, you know, seasons, you know, all the bodily, you know, life within that you're living. And I just found that when I first was on the journey, I just found that I didn't have direction, and I felt quite adrift, and I didn't have that sort of, I felt a bit scattered and no focus. And I think for me, the biggest learning curve with the course was it kept me very grounded, and it brought structure, which I love.
Probably about the energy, about working more with energy fields and other people's energy fields. That's obviously the, you know, the practical stuff that we've learned, but I think on like a kind of emotional and spiritual level, that's actually been the kind of biggest eye-opening thing for me. And like really going into each of the meridians and doing the Wuji Sangchuan extension thing and really feeling that, it was like, oh my God, I felt empowered by it, you know, because I've been to acupuncture quite a lot and stuff like that, but it felt really empowering to just recognize and learn the main points and then be like, okay, well, I can stimulate these myself. I don't need to keep going and giving my power away, and just feeling how using the power of thought can actually stimulate them. And that's sometimes enough. That's incredible for me.
The breath work, I think, has been absolutely amazing. And actually, by practicing, you realize how quickly you can just calm the body down, and the benefit that you get from taking that time just to breathe properly, and breathing into the rhythm of the universe. I mean, that's just amazing. You only need to do a few of those now to just really feel that benefit. So I think that's a big learning, just how important the breath work is. It's realizing how key building an intention into your practice is. I mean, I think that only really registered with me on sort of week 13 or something. I think I said to you in a Q&A, I went, oh, the penny's really dropped, that actually, and through doing Enter the Flow, if you set that intention, wow, it's so much more powerful. And you get so much more from your practice by setting that intention. So that's been a real big learner for me.
I guess probably the concept of Qigong being about energy rather than it being about a set of physical exercises. So I think that has fundamentally changed as I've progressed in the course. And when I began and when I've touched on Qigong in the past, it has just more been me going through the motions of the exercises and still feeling really good at the end of it and noticing benefits. But throughout the course, I really started to see the mind-body connection, and that it was, less about what the physical exercise is and more about tuning in and feeling your energy.
Learning more about where things are in your body, I suppose, and kind of massaging around them areas using certain exercises. That's been great, because I've always done exercise in the past and just done it without really thinking of that specific area, I suppose. So I've really enjoyed thinking more about the exercise of and like, I've just enjoyed the exercise a lot more, thinking about where it is rather than just doing it. So I've really enjoyed it. I've also enjoyed meditation, because that's something I've never done either, and try to really focus on energy in parts of my body while breathing and trying to relax and clear my mind. That's something I've never done in my life, and I've really enjoyed that too.
It's the kind of honouring yourself in a way, making time for yourself. And I think that's been one of the key things as well. So it's having a discipline and the making the time for yourself. So yeah. And it's also, you know, the people that you meet along the way. You know, there's a nice little band of us now that will continue to be friends after, which is great. Have supported each other throughout the, you know, the journey, which has been wonderful, really.
Finding time to put aside to learn something that I want to learn about. Whereas before it was the general run of the mill things all the time, work, kids, washing. But it's actually putting something aside. What I've learned for myself is putting something aside that I am interested in. And it's okay for me to do that. I've allowed myself, it's okay. And I've gained a lot of confidence through this course.
It's taught me a lot about myself, how I work with my energy, and the practices I maybe, you know, have avoided because I don't always want to, you know, sit down and settle. Like the meditative practices, for example, you know, that's quite hard for me to just sit down, but it teaches me, yeah, I'm still too active a lot of the time. So it shows me why I need balance. And yeah, and just when I do those more still practices, just like, yeah, the standing post, I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, this is where all the tensions are. Just, you know, that practice in itself tells me so much about myself. So yeah, it's a wonderful way of connecting to the self, I think. And yeah, just learning the theory behind it all is just absolutely fascinating. Everything sort of comes together, because I've, you know, read some books on Chinese medicine before, and then did Qigong practices 20 years ago when I used to do Tai Chi. So it's nice to have a, you know, bring everything together and have a, you know, overall perspective of it all. So yeah, thanks, John. It's great, and I loved your videos and the written content as well. It's really helpful for me to learn in both ways.
Just the materials I've learned about myself as well, if I'm honest. A lot of it has been, you know, the learnings, but it's also it's taught me that, you know, if you've got your little, you know, you've got your devil and your angel on your side and things like that. Well, I'm listening to the angel more than I'm listening to the devil now, because it kind of empowers you, you know, to be able to focus and to do things, to move things forward. So I've certainly got empowerment out of it, you know, without a doubt.
For me to have something that I could just do and practice myself, I just thought that was amazing. And then, so I did 12 Rivers, and then it's kind of, well, the 12 Rivers is great, but then, you know, where does that fit in with everything else? So, you know, I really wanted to do some physical stuff. What has been the amazing benefit for me is the spiritual and the mental stuff as well. Really understanding myself and some of the attitudes and behaviours that I've had over years. For me to actually experience energy has been amazing. You know, it's fantastic.
You know, the biggest one is actually feeling the energy move through the body. I'd sort of had glimpses of that in the past, but not really consistently. You know, every day when you're doing the practice, you're feeling that energy moving through. So for me, that's been the big surprise, and you know, thoroughly enjoying that process as well.
The breath work and meditation, I've always thought, oh yeah, I'm quite good at doing this meditation thing, and then realised that actually I wasn't. And until you're given a platform to follow and a structured way of doing things, I've really noticed how I can really properly meditate, switching off, using my breath work and use the stillness around me. Whereas before I would have just gone, kind of jumped in, done a little bit of breath work, and my like monkey brain would have come in. I'd have tried to get it away, but it would come back again. Whereas now I think I've really, through all your structured ways of doing it, I've kind of really kind of built up a good way to enhance it and enjoy it more.
Learning to value the stillness for a busy mind has been a real massive learn for me. That it's not the add-on bit, and it's not the luxury bit. So yeah, I would say that the other thing that I think has pushed me out of my comfort zone has been to lead a practice and to actually get up there and just do it. And it slightly was an out-of-body experience, but you know, I'm so grateful that that was actually part of it, and that, you know, I just sort of, you know, took it and just went with it and took the opportunity. And I don't know where it's going to lead, but I would have not wanted to finish the course not having had that experience, definitely.